sex with good-looking people, whatever. Right. It was, you've been put here so that you can preach the word of God. So we did. So we absolutely did. That's why you see football players on TV. Man, you just kicked the game-winning field goal in the Super Bowl. Well, the first thing I want to do is thank Jesus Christ.
Right. Whoa. Matthew 6:6. But
it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Go to your closet.
I know the verse you're talking about, and that's exactly why it is. I don't do Bible wars anymore, because every Matthew that you can find, I can find something in another book to contradict it. I mean, 66 books of bullshit, right? I mean, I can find this verse, John 3:16.
Mm-hmm.
John 3:16 is almost directly contradicted by John 3:18.
Hold on. I got to go there. Finish your thought.
Well, when I hear people say that this is an inclusive religion, it's like, well, have you read John 3:18? He who is baptized and will be forever saved. He who is not will be forever condemned. That's not inclusive.
Whoever believes in him.
If you don't get on your knees, I'm going to beat your ass for an eternity.
Right.
Can I read this?
Sure.
Go, by all means.
Let's see. Hold on. How do I? All right. So I got my lesson about this yesterday. So I want to share window.
Uncle Bobby, here's the $1 million question. How do you spell blase in the Glavinoids?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
You heard it here first. That's the official spelling. The official spelling is there is no official spelling.
Yeah, let's keep that. Blase and Glavinoids. I like that.
You know, Pocket Locker, it says I'm sharing my screen, but I don't really think I am. Am I?
Oh, you are. I just have to, you got to add it as well.
I have to add it.
Yeah, see it over there on the left-hand side where all the guests are? You got to scroll down there, and then you actually add it. Give it up for James Apperson. What's up, James?
Yeah, hey, guy. Great to see all of you guys. Great to see you here. I just want to be part of this. James. Like, I don't even have anything to say yet. When this many wonderful people are on screen at one time, like, I want to, be part of it. Like, I just want to be in the sandbox.
Appreciate you. There you go. Look at them all hosting over here, sharing screen.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
I don't know what you can see.
Your screen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Genesis GV60. Okay, let me stop. So,
wait, hang on a second. There we go. Boom.
Okay. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life.
Everlasting life.
Okay, so that we've heard. What we may not have heard is, for God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. It doesn't say from him, but it should. Through him, from him. Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe stands condemned already, because they have not believed in the name of God's one and only Son. I'll go to 19. The verdict, this is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but people love darkness instead of light because their deeds are evil. Well.
Yeah.
Cheery.
Very. Well, that's why I'm just not buying the love thing. But this is not love.
No.
Whichever verse you pull up, again, if at the end of a love proposition is I'm going to beat your ass, the truth is you're signing up for a self-defense lesson from this guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's battered spouse syndrome is what it 100%.
Is. That's what it sounds like, yes.
Yeah. That's exactly it. I'm not the first to say that.
If I tell somebody I love you, don't you love me back? If they tell me, yeah, I don't, then my response is, well, that was embarrassing.
Right.
That's choice. What? if I stand over that person, my voice changes, my eyes change, my hand position change. I love you. Don't you love me back? Yeah, that person has a choice, but if they give me the wrong answer and I beat the shit out of them, again, there's no, in a relationship proposition, if there's an ass whooping on the end of it, that's not a choice. And that's not love.
So what is God's Jumbotron when the proposal comes and the camera?
Well, his Jumbotron is a big fucking one of these.
In the clouds.
Yeah, it's like, you got to give me a break. And only through Christianity is this a topic of discussion. Because this is what I hear every day at work. It's, bitch, don't I give you a good living? Where are you going to get that Tiffany's diamond ring from? Where are you going to go? Who's going to want your funky ass if it's not me? Wait. Why is there one ice cube? Bitch, didn't I? And that is seen, or that is pressed as love.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
The house you live in. Where are you going to go after this? Or you can say, what, you don't believe my son died for you? Don't you know I love you so much I killed my own son? I could let you burn forever, but I murdered my son for you. Now get on your
knees. If that's how you love your own child,
exactly.
Why do you think? What makes me think you're stable?
And that's why
sane?
This is only legitimate when you go to church. Any other context, you're contacting a self-defense teacher. I promise you. I promise you.
Yeah. Absolutely. So did you never have the conversation with your family? Did that just not happen? Like, did they think you believe?
They know. We just don't talk about it.
Got you.
Like, there's no profit. Like, my family knows that my older sister is gay. They don't know that she's trans. And when we sat down, we had this conversation. They don't know. Because my sister still appears.
She presents to them?
As her assigned gender.
Just to them, or them. Just when she's with them? Okay.
Right. And so a purse around me, I'm like, bitch, could you put a coaster underneath your drink? I'm more worried about that. And it's like, we're Generation X, small town Louisiana. And it's like, you got to choose your battles. Right? I'm not going to change my 80-year-old aunt who goes to church what seems to be 29 times a week. Right? And what's the point? What is the point? She still loves me. She still thinks I'm too skinny. She still feeds me like there's... It's choose your battles. Yeah. It is choose your battles. Now, if one of my cousins wants to talk about it, I will talk about it. And when he's like, well, I don't believe in a God. And they back up. It's like, well, I don't want the thunder to hit me. Like, listen to what you just said. Listen to what you just said. So you're telling me that, and I used to say the same thing. So if I don't believe as you, lightning's going to strike and I'm going to get hurt. You have to be ready to receive the knowledge.
Yeah, basically. Lightning, then if that's true, then, and I'm going to just mention Hitler here, he wasn't struck by lightning. So is what he was doing okay? And he believed in God. Is that the ultimate?
Depends on the Christian, though, doesn't it?
Well, I think you're lucky when you get someone who's intellectually honest. The best thing, one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life when I was a Christian, is when my friend Amanda, who is Jewish, and I was trying to convert her, said, "Do you think God would send me to hell?" And I'm like, this is like the best person on the planet I'm talking to. And when she said that to me, I thought, I would not want that. Like if I knew God had sent her to hell, I'd be upset with God. I'm like, you have no right to do that.
Oh yeah.
And if God was, it's all mine. I'm like, hey. Did you ever look at her when instead of watching people masturbate? Did you ever look at what she was doing? What kind of person she is?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
no. Well, why not, God? You're missing the best parts. You know.
So I don't know if you got this. So I was already on this side of belief. And my best friend is me and I am him. And he sat right here on this couch. And I was right there. And I still remember he hit me with the Hitchens challenge. I couldn't answer it. And the next morning, I didn't believe in a God.
What is the Hitchens challenge? What is that?
Name one thing that you can do good in the name of religion that you can't do simply because it's a Tuesday. And I couldn't answer the question. And actually, the answer I gave him, because we went back and forth, it's like, then why are you holding on to a faith? And I remember like, it just makes me feel good. I'd probably say 2 years later, I did the exact same thing to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me the exact same answer. After you can't answer it, you're just like, it makes me feel good. Then that's not a reason to hold on. It just isn't. But a friend of mine who's Jehovah's Witness, talking about hell and everything else. And I was like, well, my best friend is quite honestly one of the best people on the planet. The guy's got a heart of gold. And I said, he does not believe in God. So you mean to tell, okay, so let's say you get me, but you're not going to get Simon, I promise you. So is Simon going to go to hell and be tortured forever? She said, 1, yes, he is. But 2, don't worry, God's going to take the memory of Simon away from you. I'm like, so which part of me crosses the pearly gates? Because a part of me loves Simon. Period. End of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just fucked up because it's like, even if it was real, you strip the free will portion out of the equation. In order for me to go to heaven, I have to be something that I'm not. And that's actually what I teach in my self-defense classes.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to change who you are at your foundation, you're in the wrong relationship. If you have to do something sexually, if you have to bring on a different belief, whatever the fuck it is, if you have to do something to stay in this relationship, it's a bad relationship. You should be able to bring you who you are. And that person say,
hey, Caterpillar.
I'm taking you, the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're telling me that going to heaven means I don't remember Simon, I don't get to drink, I don't get to roll the joint the size of my dog, if you're telling me I can't do any of that, which part of me is going to heaven?
Right.
Because you're not describing me.
I have said that one of the worst things you can say to a Christian, one of the worst questions you can ask them is what heaven is like.
Mm.
And it's because I think the heaven that they know is the one that they created in their mind. It's not the one that's from the Bible. It's the one they heard about in sermons that isn't necessarily real. One of the things I wrote to someone in a reply they put on Facebook, in a post they made on Facebook, I wrote in that reply, you have to realize that when the Bible says there's a mansion for you in heaven, it may be just a body for you. It's not necessarily a home or a place to live or physical structure. It's just a body. The ancient Greeks would reference sort of your afterlife body as a mansion. I first was exposed to it in Plato's Phaedo. So even though Jesus says, you know, I go to make a place for you in heaven, I'd be interested to know what the Greek was for that, to know if it was the real, if it meant mansion or was it a house. I don't know for sure. But even if he meant that, there's a place for you. Yeah, you might be working in the temple, serving the Lord, and there's a place for you in the temple that he makes. You know, I don't think I could still cut my grass and visit with my Aunt Louise necessarily. If that was the case, God would never see me, because I'd be hanging out with my wonderful friends that I've had in this life and wonderful family members I've had. So, you know, I can see him showing up. You've never come by. I'm like, don't worry. If I have eternity, I have eternity with them too, not just you. And I've really been aching to see them. So that would have to be enough for God. Like, dang, you don't like me, huh? I'm like, I've said some really poignant things about you. Evidently, you should have listened sooner.
But about the Christian God, buddy.
Yeah.
So that's another one of my questions. This God is so powerful that this fucker created a world in 6 days by talking to himself, but can't handle honest criticism. So I don't think anything that we say or anyone else who's hypercritical, me calling God a fuckface or saying, wait, hold on. You mean this fucker created a universe in 6 fucking days and just sat there and was like mountains, rivers, cats, and that's what's going to get us tortured forever? I mean, just none of that makes sense. I hope we're on the same page on this.
Yeah, I have serious issues with that. And hi, Melody Joy. I must correct you. The rest of the universe.
I gotta learn how to do both.
I'm still learning. The part that throws me is the universe is created in a day, except for the planet Earth. The rest of it's created in a single day. But this same being, again, who holds himself up as one who is all loving, right? Actually, you know what? I actually don't know if that's true. I think if the people writing the Gospels and the prophets and all that stuff are sort of giving a commentary on God to some degree, they're the ones saying that. Well, that's just kissing his behind. Prove it. If you're all loving, prove it. I was thinking back about Godless Girl this morning. I listened to her argue with some people last night after she came on with you, Pocket Locker.
Sure.
And she was saying that, the presuppositional argument, though not necessarily, a fantastic argument to prove your point, is a good argument. It's a great way of argumentation, which I'll agree with. And I thought, wouldn't a simple question sort of disarm that argument? And that question would be, can you prove it? You presuppose there's a God, but can you prove it? Give me something right now. Demonstrate it, right? My Latin teacher in high school used to say to me, demonstrate, which means you demonstrate it.
Did you get the impression that Godless Girl, and I hope she's watching, did you get, how did you feel? Like, I got the impression, like, she said to not watch her interview with Rebecca because she didn't think it was good. And I didn't enjoy that particular interview because it felt like she was just coming at the throat of atheists, and I wasn't quite sure why. I think I kind of got it now. Like, she thinks atheists are missing the argument a lot, but it feels like there's something else going on that I'm not quite.
Godless Girl is garbage. She's a trash individual.
Well, I have something to say about that when you guys are done.
I think she's trying to not be the same person she was in the past. So I don't know if you're referring to.
I will give her latitude if she wants to make a change. We all, 10 years ago, I was calling gay people faggots and knocking on doors saying, "Are you ready to accept Christ?"
Right.
I'm willing to meet her halfway.
Facts. Same.
I did a debate with her.
You did, okay.
Which was a dumpster fire.
Sure.
An absolute dumpster fire. If she is wanting to change, like I said, I will talk to her again. I will meet her halfway.
Sure.
Everyone is worth a second chance. And like she came in here and kicked my dogs. But my first interaction with her was a dumpster fire. And I looked at her other interactions with people, and they were all shit shows. Sure. Then her monkey ass got on SJ's channel and reviewed the debate she did with me and broke that game film down. It's like, okay, if you ever find yourself agreeing with SJ Thomas, fuck you. It's like when you're sitting there reading Mein Kampf and you're like, oh, I can totally see what he's coming from. It's the exact same thing. If you ever get on a TV channel, a YouTube channel, and you're like, hey, SJ, I see where you're coming from. That's all I need to know about you. So if Godless is making steps to change, I'm willing to listen to your story.
Right.
But my first interaction with her was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Now again, this is actually the first time I've said her name since. Because I said I will never say that handle ever again.
Yeah.
He sat there as an atheist.
So I didn't.
And did the bullshit about why is rape wrong.
Really?
And you can go fuck yourself. That's a horrible question to ask. Right. It just is. If you can take arguably the most dehumanizing crime you can commit and use it as a philosophical chess piece to win an argument, I can say, 1, fuck you.
Right.
2, you've never sat down and listened to a rape survivor tell you their story.
Yeah,
because if you can take that moment and turn it into a game,
yes,
then you've got something that I don't have, and I don't want it.
Sure,
I just don't want it.
Yeah.
So Godless, I hope she wants to make a change, but from my one experience with that person, she can go fuck herself.
Go ahead, James.
No, James hit me.
So yeah, she was on Answers. Yeah, she was on. I agree with everything you're saying. I totally get that. Now she was on Answers in Atheism. Was it yesterday, day before? I don't know. My days all kind of blur together. And she was talking about how she's rebooting her channel and that she basically regrets the way that she interacted with the community before. She doesn't want to be that person anymore. She doesn't want to be aggressive and hostile or divisive or any of that stuff. And she's asking people to give her a chance and see how it goes. And so I keep an open mind about it. But I agree with you that that's problematic when philosophically her position is that moral positions are neither true nor false. And she's got some deeply complex way of reasoning that out that might be like technically logical, but it ignores the human reality. Like it just doesn't. Like there wasn't really a connection there with the human experience.
I often feel this way. I mean, some people came through the chat yesterday and were saying stuff like, "Oh, Jay, she's just a philosophy person and she doesn't know anything about science." And I go, people confuse me for a science nerd just because I do science for a living. So I don't care what somebody knows about science. I think it's weird that people know science in their spare time. I would like ask people, have you ever seen me like pick up a chemistry book or read about rockets in my spare time? Like I'm more like Gin and Truth, like give me a drink and let's throw the game on, right? But I feel the same way about philosophy, which is it almost strikes me as white boy syndrome, where like I tune into these channels, I see these white boys arguing, and they are really trying to have these earth-stopping moments over these philosophies. Like my favorite one is internal consistency. Right, you know, I'll say something like, "Oh, I support people doing whatever the fuck they want over here." "Oh no, over here." You know, I think you got to really stop people from doing that. "Well, you're not being internally consistent," and I'll just look at them like, I'm I failed to miss? Is there a point here? Or are we just mentioning things? I like the color red. You know, like, what are we talking about here? Right? Because to them, like, they're so philosophically minded that these philosophical problems in another person's worldview, like, to them should stop that person from being able to function. Whereas, like, most people just don't care about philosophy, like, at all, never. 365 out of 365 days a year, they don't think about philosophy. So you presenting some inconsistency or fallacy in their worldview matters about as much as the length of your grass right now.
Yep.
And I wish people like got that. I'm not trying to insult them. I'm just trying to say, like, to your point, the human experience just doesn't care. Yeah.
And that's okay so far as long, again, if you want to have those conversations, why shouldn't I rape somebody? Why shouldn't I burn down someone's house? Blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Fine. Do that shit over there. Mm-hmm. But when you talk to a firefighter, and it's like, you know what? I've watched people's houses burn down. I've watched people cry when it's taken them 10, 15, 20 years to get to this spot, and it's all gone in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's like, stop it. And again, who am I? Fucking nobody. But when you sit here and you listen to people say, my first quote unquote sexual experience was at the hands of my father, and I was 8. I didn't want it, but it happened. Okay, if Sam Harris and whoever the fuck else and Cy Tim Bruggencate, Jeff Durbin, if you want to go over there and say, well, philosophically speaking, why shouldn't I rape somebody?
Right.
Why shouldn't I burn down someone's house? Why shouldn't I kill someone's dog? Fine, go way over there. But for everyone who's dealing with reality, keep your mouth fucking shut.
Yeah.
Right.
It does not, your philosophical word games do not touch reality 1 ounce. And it may make you feel good, but for the person going through that tragedy, it doesn't help them 1 ounce.
Yeah, so Cameron, I just wanted to bring up something.
Hit it.
Okay, I want to comment. When in a modern context, like the one we have now, where there's several of us, we have an audience who can respond immediately to what's going on, or even to some degree in the chat, guide what's going on.
Sure.
I think you have to be prepared to say when someone asks, so why is it, or a question like this, so why is rape immoral? Why is it wrong? You have to be able to say, I hope everyone listening heard what he just said. Why? What is lacking in that person's mindset that makes that question even presentable? Because if they need me to tell them why it's wrong, do they secretly have a desire to not believe it's wrong? Do they secretly want to do nothing, right? And I gotta invoke the words of Tracy Harris from the Atheist Experience, in a episode they had with a caller when Tracy asked them. Tracy says, look, if I know that somebody is getting, I'm paraphrasing, is getting about to be raped, I would stop that rape from happening. But your God sits back, folds his arm, and says, when you're done, you go ahead and do it, but when you're done, I'm going to punish you.
Exactly.
Maybe punish you.
So
maybe punish you. Okay, so if this is the way that the universe has been structured, that there's a God who can look at these types of abuses and just let it slide, right? He can let slavery slide. He can let, we see that in the Bible. He can let Hitler just slide, right? We see people like Hitler in the biblical text. We see it.
Right. Absolutely.
In fact, look, I'll
he
put it
commands
to you this
them
way.
to be Hitler-like.
If you've read Exodus and Genesis, you know where Hitler got his ideas from.
He says so in his book. I mean, you know, the Almighty is his inspiration.
Well, no wonder that death and destruction was his path.
Yeah, exactly.
I think American society and others make a huge mistake when they tell people to be godly. I'm like, don't you dare say. If I had a child, or when I have children, if they come home from school saying so and so says I need to be more like God,
absolutely not.
I'm presenting some material from the Bible about this God. I said, I would tell them, if you want my child to be like God, she is taking over your classroom. The first thing that happens is you get restrained, and the kids in the classroom are going to stone you to death with whatever they got, pick up desks and beat you with it and all that stuff. Because if you disagree with my daughter, that's all it's going to take, because it's her will that decides how your classroom is run, not yours. Yeah. If you want her to be godly, I'll show her.
Right.
Now, which would be the worst thing that ever happened to a third person.
Absolutely. So Cameron wanted me to bring up an example, and it reminds me of another one. So one was this chicken thing, and then recently was a COVID thing. So the chicken thing was I jumped on this guy, E.A. Dawah's channel. He's like a Muslim apologist, used to be a skinhead, then he was a fundamentalist Christian, then he was a hardcore atheist, then some Muslim guys presented him with some arguments he couldn't defeat, so now he worships Allah. Typical guy. And he tells us, he has a person on there trying to tell us basically, well, how do you know it's wrong to have sex with this chicken? And I'm sitting there like, this is fucking ridiculous, right? They try to lay out this whole philosophical argument. It's one of the same ones. It's about to be the objective basis for morality, right? And I go, look, first off, if you want me to really answer this question, look, I got it for you, okay? The chicken didn't give you consent to fuck it. That's why you shouldn't fuck the chicken, okay? You shouldn't fuck the chicken because the chicken didn't give. Well, no, Jay, you haven't heard the argument yet. You got to listen. The chicken isn't aware of it, okay? And the chicken's dead, so it doesn't even know that you're gonna. Okay. Well, all right. Well, guys, this is ridiculous. And I tried to tell them, listen, if this is how your argument starts, your argument sucks, right? And they go, no, you're new. You need to listen. You're not listening. You need to listen to the argument. You didn't let them finish. You didn't hear the buildup, so you didn't understand. You're out alone in the woods and there's nobody around. Okay, so there's nobody around. And I'm sitting here like they think that the issue is I need more details to provide the proper context.
I'm out. I'd be out.
And we were sitting there just we were seriously trying to just explain to them, listen, guys, if your argument requires this, you have a crappy argument. It was because of exactly what James said. You were taking it so far away from the human experience, right? That it's no longer this. James, can you mute your keyboard when you're banging on it?
Sorry, I was just typing to let you know I was backstage. I didn't realize.
You're good. No worries. So it was just awful. And then the recent thing was James was on a panel with me. We had a guy on. This was on my channel, and I basically made the point of, look, like you, because I was pissed off because of the pandemic and George Floyd and all this. And I basically said, this is the deal. If you got a guy that's sitting up there on the cure for COVID and he ain't just showing up with it, just, I ain't got no use for him, essentially. And he basically said, well, come on, Jay. And this was a Ken Hovind fan. He said, come on, don't you think Fauci or one of them would lose it? And I just kicked him off the channel. I was just like, yeah, you're done. You're done. That was his argument, basically. Guy can't give us the cure for COVID because Fauci would lose it. Remember, like you said on your channel, remember not dying? Remember, what did you say the other day? Remember not dying of this or that the last 30 years? Yeah, that was Fauci.
So wait. Let's rewind the clock a little bit. Okay. You had someone ask you, what's wrong with fucking a chicken?
Yes. And then try to fill it in with context to I needed details. And it's so funny how it wasn't the end of the conversation when I tried to simply say, you can't get consent from the chicken. End of story. Like it's such a dumb question, but then you actually answer it with the perfectly adequate answer, right? And then it's like, sorry, you gotta get more context from these fuckers because you're taking it out of context. It's just awful.
And that's what I said with SJ. It's like, okay, you're making a claim that a God exists. Just like I'm making the claim that my mother is real. Now, hold on. See that lady behind me? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There, I just proved my mom.
Exactly.
If I got to prove that my mom exists by saying, why don't you fuck a rodent? If your proof of your God is asking me stupid and unanswerable questions, it's like, give me a break. Yet only in Christianity is this logical.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
It's like you can't be fucking to fuck a chicken. And I've heard like, so again, like you said, like Godless was defending presuppositional apologetics. There's nothing to defend.
Right.
It's sitting on some bullshit. So when I hear a grown-ass man tell me, what's wrong with raping a child for fun? I'm like, first and foremost, fuck you. Secondly, why did you ask for fun? Like, you're just like, oh, fuck, my timer just went off. I got to go rape a 4, but it says for fun. So it's like all these qualifiers and justifications. If this is how you prove a God exists, fuck you. I mean, why shouldn't I rape a chicken?
Right.
Who says that out loud?
Exactly.
Well, I think they say for fun because there could be a higher moral purpose for doing it. For instance, this is what Dillahunty would offer if he were in this conversation. If it prevented someone from blowing up a building, would you do it?
What?
If it prevented someone from blowing up a building. There's an episode, I think the show was Black Mirror. I don't know. I only ever watched like 3 episodes where one of the politicians was told if he didn't have sex with a pig, this woman would be killed. So the potential killer had video of her. This is someone who was known to be abducted. And if he didn't have sex with the pig on television, he was going to kill her or start chopping off her fingers, I guess. And eventually kill her was the idea. So the guy had sex with the pig. There was a morally sufficient reason for him to do it.
How about this? How about this? This is a game that can be played all day long.
Yeah, like the trolley car problem.
I have made it 50 years on this planet without someone saying, go fuck a pig. Go fuck a chicken. Go rape a child for fun. And again, it's a game that we could play. Would I have sex with my sister to save an infant in New Delhi? This is just stupid.
I have a good comeback for this.
Oh, by all means.
And I want you all to remember this and feel free to use it. So I brought this up in another episode, or early episode of Hot Program, saying I could write a better story than Jesus dying for our sins. Why is it not that Jesus' sacrifice for our sins was so good that we could sin no more? It was so purifying, right? That we could sin no more. And so society...
It brought out the Jesus in your heart. You knew it was in your heart.
I couched it as it could be some tale like from Africa or something, why the people of a given society are so moral, helpful, and upstanding. It's because long ago, one of the gods died to take away the sins of the people. And now people don't even have to try to be wonderful to each other, right? But again, when you're presented with that challenge, just put that right back to them. Answer their question, first of all, and your answer could be simple. I don't know why you would suggest that, that you would do it for fun. I think the people who do rape children are doing it for fun. It's not a need. Right?
Yeah.
It may be a drive. It is not a need.
Sure.
They do not have to act upon it. They may want to. And for whatever reason, if you ask them what religion they were and they said they were a Christian, then evidence right there, God is not enough. Jesus is not enough.
And I'm sure,
right?
And the funny thing is, I'm sure a lot of people who do rape children, like, pray to be delivered from that particular drive uselessly.
I would imagine they did. Well, I don't want to say prayer. I'm not a prayer hater. I don't want to say prayer is not useless, because and I've said this before, if it gives the person a chance to get centered on their goals and give themselves enough time to react in a rational manner, to what they ought to do, then I'm all for it. But if it's a prayer that helps some dude strap a bomb to his chest to go blow up a busload of people in Israel, he's praying for the wrong thing. If it's people praying to get some legislation passed that will take away rights of other people, I'm not for it. I would say there are bad things to pray for, right? That step outside of building a better society.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess one of the other things I wanted to ask Gin and Truth about, or talk to the panel about while you're here, is particularly as a Black Christian, I find that growing up, I felt like, all right, so for me, I grew up like the only Black kid in all white school, right? So I grew up kind of like the family was in, urban New Jersey. And so I'm constantly being reminded, like, you're the privileged one, you're the lucky one, right? And so at the same time, it's like, you have to read Black history and you have to know about Frederick Douglass and George Washington Carver and, all of the, the people, right? It's constantly presented with books about, from the womb to like, till I left the house, right? And it was like, because the concern would be I wouldn't be Black enough, or I wouldn't understand what it meant to be Black in America, at least. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but just in the sense of like, they felt the need to infuse, right? And I was a child of the 90s, right? Just when everybody was trying to go back to Africa and wearing the kente cloth and all the nonsense. Yeah.
Yep.
And so, but it's like they never got that you're trying to tell me what it means to be Black is our journey from slave to free, right? We were slaves and then they freed us, but we weren't free. There was Jim Crow and segregation and then racism and structural racism and all of this. And then y'all are just like, but you got to call this Jesus Lord. Oh yeah, you're going to definitely want to be on your knees calling Jesus Lord and Master the rest of your life. Like they never, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like they never to me saw the inherent desire to not be free and what they believe. That it just, in its essence, if you want to, I always say, if you want to call somebody master, you are not free. And I know people don't.
Exactly.
My friend doesn't like this.
I'm gonna circle back to what I'm just repeating myself today. Religion is useful. If I know that all I have to do is bring up what God would do or what God wants or how God is trying to guide us, I got you. I can make you do pretty much anything I need to do, because social pressure, peer pressure, will drive you to conformity. And that is why religion, that's one of the reasons, other than money and a few other things, why religion is so powerful, why it's so useful, and why it doesn't matter if it's true, it works.
Cameron,
I had math teachers who used to tell me, particularly in middle school, I was awful with algebra. They would look at my paper when I wouldn't even cheat on the test. They would look at my paper and say, you got the right answer for the wrong reason. And I would ask them, is there something that I did? I realized I got these other 16 wrong. Is there something that I did in this one that I could use again and again or apply somewhere else? And usually they would say to me, no. But they would be marveling, like, if they wrote the steps on the board, they would get the same answer I did. But it's a coincidence that it worked out. it's not the way it would always work out.
I got to disagree.
Bring it on.
I got to disagree. I truly believe religion to be a net negative. I do. Because it's not grounded in reality. And that's why the Hitchens challenge is so powerful. I can help my next door neighbor if they need me. And I can say,
we did it. We summoned Otangelo
to do it. Now, my next door neighbor is in a heterosexual relationship. But if they ask me for help, but it's a same-sex relationship, now I can lean on the Bible and say, fuck those faggots. Religion brings a unique negative to the table. Because otherwise, I just see someone in need. Right?
Thanks, Randolph. We'll see you soon, buddy.
Any other ideology except for religion that says you are different from me. Right? And again, it for the good that religion brings to the table, it also brings a unique bad to the table. And it's a unique bad that can be hung on solely religion.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and look at someone who I love and adore, care about and respect, and say, you're going to go to hell and be tortured forever unless I believe what the Bible tells me to say. And that foundational belief leads to how I treat that person. We won't be in a friendship. We won't be in a romantic relationship.
Yeah, I felt like I feel like that's what I deal with my family, and I relate to, our friend Tux, who says, it's an evil so evil everybody thinks that it's good, and
that's about Jesus, Otangelo.
And they don't. Yeah, Otangelo's the guy you talked to before. And so what happens is once we say his,
I'm about to say Otangelo is coming.
He's in the chat. Yeah. Once we say his name once we say his name. Yeah. Once we say his name 3 times, he pops up like Candyman. Like Candyman.
That was the guy who said that everyone had to follow a certain set of rules except his one. I remember Otangelo. Yeah. Then he hung up on me, right?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah. He's been rage quitting a lot recently.
Well,
hello, dramatic exits.
No, that's the guy you said calls into atheist channels all the time.
Yeah.
He goes,
that guy. I definitely remember him. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay, just real quick, Otangelo. The only way to talk about Jesus without talking about religion is to talk about Jesus as just some guy, right? If you're talking about Jesus as just some guy, great. You can have a discussion about Jesus without talking about religion. But the moment you're talking about a Jesus as more than just a guy, now you're talking about religion. So let's be clear about this. Otangelo's getting a dictionary for Christmas.
James Apperson, I disagree.
Go for it.
You can talk about Jesus for fun.
Oh, for fun. Sure.
And it won't be wrong.
For fun, which I do all the time. It's hilarious, honestly. So let's not forsake that opportunity.
Otangelo, first of all, welcome, and I hope you're well, and I hope your father's doing well. Today's topic was supposed to be the 613 commandments and which ones have you broken, and maybe even get some stories from our audience and each other as to the reasons why. Oh, thank you for that, Obama. That's like one of my favorite Trump quotes. We'd like to welcome. Surely some things that Jesus would have remarked on would have entered. But Otangelo, I'm interested in knowing what's your take on what James Apperson said. Can one discuss Jesus without discussing religion? Is that possible? I'm waiting for his comments.
I mean, I certainly think it's possible. I think we were asking James. James, are you? I can't hear James, so maybe James stepped away.
I'm here.
Oh, there he goes.
Being quiet.
Oh, go ahead, James.
No, I don't have anything to add. Go ahead.
I think he was asking you, wasn't he? Or
no, I want to know, Otangelo, is it true?
Oh, Otangelo.
Is it true?
Yeah, Otangelo, you can call in if you want. Also, yeah, you need to call in so we can sign this contract for you to debate James at the event, at the Survivor Series. That's what we're going to have to call the first one, the Fall Classic.
Otangelo, I mean, I'm looking at your comment here. By the way, folks, I'm the one who is not ably selecting quotes from chats to appear on the screen.
Guys,
I'm learning. This is my first day trying to.
Who's putting chats on the screen? Is that Uncle Bobby?
That's me.
Oh, that is you. Oh, that is.
But it says I'm him for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, you got to change your name. Just go over to your camera and then click edit name. There's a little 3 down, and then you click.
What?
Off to the left-hand side. You scroll over to your camera, and then you click. There's a little 3 dots next to your signal.
It says my one black friend.
Yeah, it does. So it doesn't say your uncle. It says you're my one black friend. You're good.
But if I make a comment, I'm Gin and Truth.
Oh, probably just because of how you're logged into the Restream chat or something.
Okay. Yeah, so I want to address, Otangelo, what you've written here. So I'll respectfully disagree. Because if Jesus is your Lord, if he's not your landlord, what kind of Lord is he? If Jesus is your Savior, what exactly did he save you from? How is that not a religious context? And giving the golden rule. Well, there are plenty of other people. Believe me, Jesus wasn't the first guy to sort of figure it out that maybe we should treat each other well. If you read Plato, you get that, you know? There are other things you can read that have great parables that teach you the same thing. And if I am to take you seriously, Otangelo, by the way, he's backstage.
Oh, he is?
You said which improves human well-being. Well, if I go to some of the commandments and rules that we were going to do today,
he doesn't have his camera
on the Bible
yet.
About God. If I am to use those as the measuring stick, there are times God utterly fails to improve humanity with what he's suggesting. Utterly failing. What is that Ezekiel passage? I bring it up frequently because it is awful. It is awful. Let's see. I gave them statutes that were not good. That's how it starts. That's not how it starts. It's how it goes. So yeah, bring him in. Bring him in.
Put your camera on, weirdo.
Or at least give us an image or something.
Or your icon.
Okay, Otangelo.
Otangelo's a tech nerd till he gets to my channels. Then he.
All right, so let me read you something from the Bible. Okay, this is God. But the children rebelled against me. That's Israel, the children. They did not follow my decrees. They were not careful to keep my laws, of which I said, the person who obeys them will live by them. And they desecrated my Sabbaths. So I said I would pour out my wrath on them and spend my anger against them in the wilderness. But I withheld my hand, and for the sake of my name, I did not. Hold on a second. For the sake of my name, where did it go? Looks like it skipped. Why? Doggone it. This thing. But I withheld my hand for the sake of my name, which also means reputation. Name also means reputation. I did hand. What? Oh, and what would keep it from being profaned in the eyes of the nation, in whose sight I had brought them out. Also, with uplifted hand, I swore to them in the wilderness that I would disperse them among the nations and scatter them through the countries, because they had not obeyed my laws, but had rejected my decrees and desecrated my Sabbaths, and their eyes lusted after their parents' idols. So I gave them over to statutes that were not good, and laws through which they could not live. I defiled them through their gifts, the sacrifice of every firstborn, that I might fill them with horror, so they will know that I am the Lord.
Lovely. So
you can read other translations of this where, like, this is apologizing for that text. They cleaned it up. if you go to, people love the King James. I don't know that Otangelo does. So if you go to 25 in there, wherefore I gave them statutes. It didn't say God gave them over like the NIV does. It says, wherefore I gave them statutes that were not good and judgments whereby they should not live. Whereby they should not live. So it's telling you, Otangelo, that God gave the Israelites some rules that were too horrible to live by. But that's what he did. We see it right here in the text.
Speaking of those rules, no, next week on Hot Program, join us. We'll be going over the commandments. Go ahead, Otangelo. Welcome to the show. Also, Otangelo, listen, before we get started, we got to handle some business. Listen, we're going to set up an event. It'll be probably in the next month or so here, or actually it'll probably be around Thanksgiving time, to be honest, because it's going to be around Thanksgiving time. It's going to be the Fall Classic. It's going to be called the Survivor Series. And you need to be involved. Okay, and so you need to stop ducking these formal things. You always complain about the panels going against you. We're going to give you a fair hearing, but you got to agree to participate in the event, Otangelo.
It's okay with me.
Oh, there it is. You heard it, folks. He said it on like 15 channels right now. We're live everywhere. You just said it. You heard him. You heard it. We're doing it. All right. We'll be in touch. All right, now go. You can welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, and you can put him over here in the big boy's chair and
yeah, all right. Otangelo, welcome to Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, sometimes he has a delay.
Okay.
Or maybe did he freeze? Is he frozen?
I think he's frozen.
Looks like he's frozen.
Frozen, yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah, he looks more still than he wants to be.
Must be God's will.
Zen. Must be God's will.
Could be James Everson. Could be.
Tapped out already?
That's better than rage quitting. He's working. He's working up to technical difficulties.
Why do that? He's breaking up.
Yeah.
Well,
it's all right. It happens. It happens.
This guy's got a lot of time on his hands.
I have a theory that Otangelo is a billionaire that owns an F1 team, so he doesn't really have to work anywhere anymore, other than, maybe stopping in to visit his employees and make sure they're making him money. So he has yet to deny that he is a billionaire. I think he did say he did not own an F1 team, but he has the look. He has the look.
What he does in his free time? He calls atheist channels and talks some bullshit.
Yeah. I actually think a lot of the retired men are the most difficult to deal with out here because there's very little ways to get them away from their keyboards. And so I think some of them are actually the most dedicated out here, right? Because they've literally got nothing to do.
Excuse me for a second.
They're in these, they're almost like born again bachelors, in a house where, the wife or family's happy to have them up in the study, leaving them alone all day. And they just work on their spreadsheets and, hate watch Atheist. And it's a weird little 3-quarter life crisis they're having.
Yeah. And to Cameron's question, my paddle is right here. I keep it handy at all times, but he left the room before we could get that far. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to address Melody Joy's comment.
Yeah, go for it.
She saith, doesn't Jesus say he doesn't bring peace but a sword, and for his followers to hate their family and their own lives?
Only if you read it.
Wouldn't say that is good for human well-being. Well, Melody Joy,
you gotta get all technical.
Oh my God, you're such a devil's advocate today.
Well, I can agree with you, Melody Joy. This doesn't seem when you look at this, because she's right. When you look at what's said here, or we look at it in the biblical context, this isn't necessarily productive. And when people say that, it's a cult, early Christianity was a cult, Christians, even modern day Christians, shouldn't be embarrassed by that if they understand what the definition of a cult is. But if you said Christianity is a cult and then you read this, you prove it. Mm-hmm. You prove it. Because deny your family. I want you to do what I say. I'm the big tough guy. I'll protect you. So it gets, I don't know. I think Christians have it tough because Jesus does say things like this. And the Bible has many things that are like this as well. Like even what I just read in Ezekiel. Yeah, it gets pretty awful.
Yeah, it does. And most of them don't read it. They believe in the Bible, but they don't read it. And I find it hard to ignore. So one of the things I wanted to touch on yesterday, we started talking about social dynamics a bit, was that it's about dominance, right? We talked about this a little bit with mating, James. Like it's about dominance hierarchies. And I don't need you to buy what I'm selling for me to dominate you. I sort of just need your compliance with my dominance, right? And what I feel like is going on in a lot of situations with Christians is they're using their sort of passiveness, their sort of civility as a way to dominate. This is what bothers me going into the holidays. Is I feel like so many non-believers go into the situation where they've got to go home, and so they've got to bow their heads and maybe even go to services, right? And they have to do that just to, quote unquote, maintain the peace, right? But to Jin and Truth's earlier story, it's like they are forcing someone to live in a way that is not who they truly are for the sake of their comfort. And to me, that just inherently undermines the very foundation of what it's supposed to be loved ones, to be family and friends. But what I recognize is some people, most people, right, are unwilling to have those situations because they're simply not willing to have those confrontations. No matter how much, it may be, what needs to happen. And I just feel terrible about that because it's like, it's like when somebody is in an abusive situation, but part of the abuse is stripping them of the tools they need to get out of the abusive situation, right? And that just bothers me. And then it just makes me sort of feel fortunate because I'm just not that easy to silence. Mm-hmm. And for most of my life, that's probably been a character flaw. It just comes in handy when people really try to hit me over the head with things I don't agree with. But I recognize that part of the inherent fabric of our society is you don't go toe to toe with grandma. You don't ruffle the feathers of the seniors in your own clan, right? And unfortunately, our struggle to just exist as non-believers sometimes puts us in situations where we're stuck between either doing that or, presenting ourselves in an inauthentic fashion just to not be ostracized from the clan. And neither one of those situations is comfortable.
Agreed.
Wait, did I miss? I had to step away for a quick phone call.
Yeah, no worries.
I don't see Otangelo back.
No, I don't think he came back in. He's just having some signal troubles. Yeah, we'll get. I kind of want to get him on the card. We want to get him when we can really get him. So, hey, I'm good as long as he's agreed to the stuff. But yeah, even though Go ahead, James.
I want to debate Otangelo, but I'll admit Gin and Truth I think would be more entertaining to watch with Otangelo.
Yeah, but my thing is I want to see Gin and Truth in the main event, and I don't know if Otangelo is ready for that type of thing. I don't know if he can handle like an hour. I'm trying to think who else is entertaining that we could get you to debate. You know, I'm tempted to try to reach out to SJ and just let you guys have the blow-off match and just finish that, because
I can all but guarantee SJ will not speak to me ever again.
Will she talk to me?
Probably. You're
speak
nice.
To a black dude not named me.
Yeah, you're real nice. That would be an interesting one.
My is part of my name, and me is a form of.
Well, I mean, she's again. There's no middle ground with SJ, and that's her problem, and that's why I blocked her on one of her Twitter handles. She blocked me back on another one. She's just putrid. She's just gross.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's the word debate gets a bad rap. Debate should be an exchange of ideas.
Sure.
Maybe you'll change me. Maybe I'll change you. SJ does not debate. She comes at you with the same strength as like Ray Comfort does. Mm-hmm. And then she's got her script, and she's going to beat you over the head with it until you either accept it or she blocks you. She's just a trash human being. I mean, when she released that fucked up ass tweet that Christianity cures depression, she got dogpiled. And then I hit her on DMs, and I kind of went into detail with my own personal struggles with mental health. And her only response was, well, I'm so sorry, Robert. And I was telling her, these are the tweets and the messages, false alarm, that get people, I don't know if I can say it, but it gets people killed. Mm-hmm. And she never once took that tweet down. And when her monkey ass got called out, first thing she said was, I didn't say that. Then Florida Line hit her ass with the receipts. Mm-hmm. Then she said, you took it out of context. Then it was, I'm the most attacked person on Twitter. SJ is a trash human being.
Mm-hmm. I do wonder, and of course, comment section, feel free to add your thoughts. I do wonder if even when we are not behaving in a way that could be considered as persecution, if they just go right to it, you're persecuting me, I'm being persecuted, because then there's sort of this rescue response from people with a similar mindset. And if people aren't reading the details, there may be people who are on your side or my side, what have you, that would say, now come on, that you've gone too far. Like, but you didn't read everything. Right. I haven't gone too far. You were just, you don't know that you're reacting in a way you wouldn't if you knew all the facts.
This is how we felt about Rebecca. I just said Rebecca. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's exactly what happened. So there was a female apologist that we've apparently helped dispose of. You know, she's apparently not making content anymore, at least right now. And a lot of people think it's because our community called her out on her nonsense, because she was sitting on some bullshit. But she tried to spin everybody I'm just a lovable soccer mom that wants to bake everybody milk and cookies. But it turns out, she was just an apologist. She had a master's in apologetics, and she had a secret anti-evolution second channel that she never talked about. And she just tried to play all nice. But then when she would really speak her mind, it came out that she was just toxic, right? She was just, the worldview is ridiculous and pathetic, and I'm more committed to my anti-evolutionism than I am to spreading the love of Jesus. Like, man, we done with you. So it just took a long time for the community to start to see her, but some of us took real shots at her. And then eventually I think people started to see the cracks, and then eventually she literally said that she realized what she was doing wasn't working. And so a lot of people in our community feel emotional about it because they're kind of like, hey, there's this Christian that we kind of liked because she was a nice person and she was sweet, and now she's gone, and now we're left with all the fuck faces. And we're kind of like, look, she was a fuckface. It's just that her tactic was to give you guys sugar. James, break down the. Also, I got to introduce you to the panel. So look, I told them about the game plan, y'all. He's with the Word Wrestling Entertainment. I got to be honest with you. When I first booked Uncle Bobby, we thought Uncle Bobby's going to be good guy, over the top. Everybody's going to love him. He's going to be the world heavyweight champion. He's going to smile. He's going to kiss babies. We're going to put him on Good Morning America. And then he said, nah, send me the NWO T-shirt. I'm with the dark side. Let's take over. Let's change the game. So he's now with the hostile side, you know? So, you know, me, him, my one black friend, y'all know Wayne, my tag team partner, you know, we the NWO, man. That's the black four horsemen right there. But my one black friend, just so you know, I'm like you. Wayne is like you. Wayne wants to end people. Wayne literally wants to put people on our hit list, right? You get on our hit list, it's either you change your whole game up, admit that you're sitting on some bullshit, or delete your channel. That's the only thing that's acceptable. Like, we're here to just take names, take people out. Now, my one black friend, he's the one guy in every group of bad dudes that's way too nice to everybody, including the dude that steals your girlfriend and the person that, you know, betrays you. But he takes care of everybody. So you got to keep him around because, you know, we a bunch of no good jerks. We just grimy Negroes. You know, so he takes care, makes sure everybody's taken care of, makes sure you get to where you got to go on time and your flight and all that's taken care of. So we can't give it. And then James is like the Sinatra. You know, he got the Karunin, the voice, and you know, he's a big dude. So he rolls with us. He's an honorary Negro. He's with the Klan. He's a pastor in the cult of the Flying Man. So, you know, so that's James. That's the crew. But yeah, my one black friend is always trying to extend the olive branch. It's kind of useful though, because he draws him in with the olive branch, and then I super kick him, and then you hit him with the jackhammer, and and he'll be like, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I can't take these guys anywhere.
I have to say, I'm a person who wants people to really live life well. And I think a lot of and I've said this before, a lot of the sheep, and I don't mean that insultingly, have had the wool pulled over their eyes.
Yeah, seriously.
And so they're unaware of what they say they've bought into. And the ones, again, it's like, in a way, it's like in times past, and I guess it happens today too, armies have been sent by countries that were never originally part of the fight. Mm-hmm. So you're fighting for this group of people that you don't know jack crap about, but you had to walk hundreds or thousands of miles to even get there. And the person who runs your company, runs your country, is being paid to have you there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting like this really low amount of money, but they're making a ton of money off you. And you go and you fight all these people who, if you had just been lost and wandering around and they found you, those people would have taken very good care of you and never meant any harm to you at all, and sent you on your way with food in your pack, you know, or told you, walk down here and so, that's my cousin, tell them I sent you there. They have work for you, you know, and you can stay in their barn or something like that. You know, they would have made your life easier, but you've been sent there to make their life hard or even end their life.
Yeah, seriously.
I think a lot of people who are Christians or even other faiths, you're fighting for something you don't actually believe because you didn't read the user licensing agreement. You don't know what's in there.
Right.
You just know that, you know what, when I go to church and I hang out with those lovely people there, it feels amazing.
It does,
it probably
does.
is.
It
because
is.
there are a lot of wonderful people sitting in that room.
I'm there. Yeah, I've been there.
Did not read the EULA.
Right.
And then you have the people who were like me or like you guys who did finally read the EULA. And we're sitting there going,
whoops.
How do I cancel my subscription?
Exactly. Immediately.
Yeah, can I get any of my money back?
Yes.
I need to talk to your manager.
Yeah, exactly. Customer service, please. I had asked someone. I suggested this. Maybe it should be legal to sue your church for not delivering what they promise. In California, we have the implied warranty of merchantability. What you sell has to actually be good for what you sell it for.
Right.
I have a hat that I purchased when I was in, Saint Martin or something like that. So I bought this hat there. The hat works. It's no good as a bowl unless you put something that's not liquid in it. But if I try to put soup in there, I'm going to have problems.
Right.
Potato chips, fine. Soup, problems. It's
not so much.
If I brought it back to them, sir, it's not made for that. I'm glad it worked for the chips, but it's not for soup or water. It's to cover your head so you can look stylish or stop the sun's rays from hitting your face. That's what it's for.
Right. It doesn't do what it's for. Exactly.
It doesn't do what it's for. So, when they go to, I would say church to some degree probably does what it's for, but God doesn't. The religion part doesn't.
Yes. Uncle Bobby always says they doesn't require to follow us.
Why say that religion is a positive?
Sure. If you want to manipulate people, that's where it works. It's fantastic.
Okay, I mean, if it's positive in a fucked up manner, I get it. Because I remember telling SJ this on one of her fucked up ass shows, and that is, if your mindset, if your life, your belief, whatever, it is positive, it needs to be measurable. Like, I can break down the science as to why the majority of people, sensible diet, exercise, all that stuff, for the majority of people, there's a net positive.
True.
A financial advisor can say, if you follow this formula, here are the results. The majority of people who follow this formula are going to have more money at 45, 55 years old. Not so much with the God claim. So if you're telling me, because if all you got for me is after you die, you're going to get this great reward, then you don't got shit.
Insurance companies do this.
Did SJ really delete her channel? Tux is here. Y'all, Tux is the evil manager. But yeah, Tux, you're welcome to hop on, bro.
I hope she did.
Also, I don't know where Wayne is, but go ahead, James.
Where did that comment go? I don't see it anymore.
Cameron Bennett said SJ deleted her channel. I think Carrie Ann or somebody. Satan's Little Helper said it too.
Good. The world is better.
That's what we're saying.
That comes out of her sewage of a mouth.
Also, Uncle Bobby, I think that has to be the goal. Like, I think that we want people to know if we set our sights on you, you might have to go. Right? Because what do they have? They don't have anything. I'm tired of them just breathing all over the good internet scot-free. Like, no, we're here. We're here to challenge you. And we start with, we don't believe you. Now go away. That's. I always say there's three options. Goon, gone, or grow. Right? What does a goon mean? It means we let you know you're sitting on some bullshit and you double down. And now we know you're double full on in, jumped into the deep end of the grift, right? You just dove on to the deep end of grift. You're a grifter. Once we say, hey, look, you are sitting on some bullshit and let us walk you through it, and you double down, you're a grifter. You're officially a goon, right? Or gone, right? That's fight or flight. You're either going to double down and keep fighting for Jesus, or you're going to flight. You're going to do what these people doing. Now, the rare group is the group you're amongst right now. We're in that rare third group. We somehow, like he said, we read the end user license manual, or as fucking Jen and Truth would say, we actually tried to do the follow-up. And when we did the follow-through, we found out, holy shit, I've been sitting on some bullshit. And so we took the third option, grow. We changed. We matured.
Third option.
We said, I got to change. You know what? I used to believe this. I thought about it, and I've changed my mind. I would say the three most important words in science are, I don't know, right?
Exactly.
And the most thing I admire anybody in the world for saying is, I thought about it, and I've changed my mind. If you say that simple phrase to me, I've thought about it, and I've changed my mind, you are in hero status to me, because apparently that is the most difficult thing for our monkey asses to do. Go ahead, James.
So Christian apologetics reminds me a lot of some of the cigarette commercials you play on here sometimes. It's, you know, it's 1950s advertising for cigarettes saying
it's cool and hip.
Flavor country. Right?
You say that so well.
Welcome to Flavor Country. Welcome to Flavor Country. Exactly.
Sorry.
You're good.
SJ's got a new channel. She took down her old one.
It's a new one?
So you know.
Oh, it's a new one.
She got a new one up.
What's the new one called?
It is called, let me get Papa in.
Look, y'all, Uncle Bobby out here doing research.
Bullshit. It's called Got Hope. It's called Got Hope.
Got Hope. Y'all, we are out here.
Got Hope, question mark, Christianity delivers. She got a new one.
Y'all, hook 'em horns, right?
No, who said that?
I did. Wait, what's it called? Got what?
Hope.
Got Hope. Oh, Christianity delivers. Yes, 2,000 subs.
Already? Wow.
Well, I mean, they just carried over from her other channel.
Yeah, 8 days ago.
That's
yeah,
still impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Still impressive.
She's a thing. She's
garbage. She's absolute trash. I do not respect, unless she's changed her game.
No.
I don't respect her
at all. Her personality is Nellie Olson from Little House on the Prairie, except she grew up and joined the death cult. That's just it.
Accepting evolution. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I am not a fan. If she ever comes on here, you're gonna have to mute my my volume. Because she is that bad of an individual.
Yeah, no, I think she's a problem. But here's what's interesting about this, right? Is in some sense, this thing we're doing now is like, it requires some degree of cooperation with the other side, right? Because you can't debate somebody. You can't go against somebody that isn't going to step in there with you, right? And in a sense, it's like the worse they are, the better. Because one, those are the people who really, they get cheered on, right? Those are the people, like, they think SJ or Ken Hovind, they think these people are fucking heroes, right? They're fans, they're little clans or whatever. And then everybody just wants to see you just wreck them. And so it's sort of like we're just trying to create that opportunity. I think James one time maybe referred to it as bringing marshmallows to a dumpster fire or something like that. That's...
Yeah.
yeah, that's the vibe, right? Just bring us. So it's like bring us their worst, so we can hit them the hardest and feel great about it.
I guess I just don't have that.
Straight blood sport.
Well, like Otangelo, I don't have that kind of time on my hands.
For sure.
To put some shit out just so people can react negatively. Like,
yeah, they're awful.
I hope my channel is me kicking actual factuals. And so to put out an SJ, a Kent Hovind, if their thing is just to get the negative reaction, to see people take,
Actually, I don't think a lot of them are. What's weird about them is I think they're cult leaders. I think they see themselves as almost like spiritual gurus. In this weird they're just preachers, right? I think they're,
they actually believe this bullshit.
I don't know. That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That I don't know. But I do think they see this as like ministry to them. This is just their ministry. And in some sense, they're right. Like they've got the, YouTube is the new battlefront of, either spreading the gospel or fighting against the enemies of spreading the gospel. And I think that's when I really talked to interviewed a Ken Hovind fan, it was very much I hate to say this, it was a reflection of what I want to be to my community, right? It was just like, oh, he's really laid back. He's a very smart guy, but he's very down to earth, and he's with us every day. He does all types of content, but he's constantly releasing something, and he just becomes part of your routine, and we all kind of know each other, and we hang out. It was exactly what we are trying to build in our community, right? They're just sitting on some bullshit, right? And their chosen leader is questionable, right? But in some sense, I kind of have disarmed a lot of these people in my mind. Like, I'm capable of going at them really hard, even if they're in my family. But at the same time, it's easy for me because I don't think I do get so riled up about it because they're just Christians to me. It's just like I find them unimpressive, but I also find most of them unthreatening. I find their worldview incredibly dangerous, but I don't find them dangerous, and most of them aren't sharp to me. Right. So it's just kind of like, cool, let's have this conversation. I don't believe, but it's crazy because a lot of that's the community now, right? There was a time in my life where being an atheist was hard and having these conversations were difficult, but now I literally do this every day. So my thing is, what I'm trying to tell even my family about the holidays is, if you want me to come home, y'all should just remove all the Jesus stuff from the public areas. Keep it in your bedroom. And it's not even like a confrontational thing. It's just literally, if I see it, I'm going to talk about it. If I go home for the holidays, I see a cross on the wall, I'm going to talk about what I think when I see a cross.
Right.
If you want to have the locker.
What? Don't.
Atheistmas.
Yeah. Yeah,
I gotta remember that one.
Yeah,
like Festivus.
Yeah, so we're thinking about, especially for those of us that are remote, either just kind of doing our own thing. You cook your own holiday meal, and then we connect online. And if you've got to go, be with the families and all of that, then you can, try to take a little break and check in with everybody and get a little acceptance in the middle of what might be a stressful holiday for some people.
Yes.
I think Melody Joy's parents are worried about vampires. I'm just saying.
Have like 25 crosses in their home. Yeah, exactly.
I was about to say, is that it? My aunt has got 25 crosses just in the fucking living room.
Wow.
Yeah, it's up your game.
My grandparents.
Your aunt should consider wallpaper instead. Just get.
Yeah, seriously.
He's got that, but it's just covered with fucking crosses.
My grandparents are ministers, and I once counted the number of Bibles in their home, and there were 13. And I'm like, there's two of you. There's two of you. What?
I've got three of them in here.
Yeah, I got 3 too.
Yeah, I don't even believe in fucking God anymore. I got 3 fucking Bibles. Hell yeah. Yeah. So, but it's funny how that goes. Oh man. My parents got that big ass Bible. That's like.
I have one.
Yeah, family heirloom Bible.
From like 1860.
Yeah, we still got one. Old. Yeah, big family heirloom Bible. It's huge. Yeah, old. Yeah. We still got one of those. Yeah.
Like, just in case the small one wasn't good enough. Yeah. Now you get to read.
This is my book of Myron. This was a birthday present for you from YouTube Punk. Yeah. So this is my holy book. It's all bedazzled and it's crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah. So now I've got a better holy book than all the big preachers. Yeah. Mine is way better.
Punk, I think Jesus is freaked out at the first cross he sees if he comes back here. Like, whoa.
Maybe that's why he didn't come back. He's got PTSD, so he's not coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Pockets Bible's the one and only. Exactly. Oh man, this is so great. Nice. All right, so let's plug everybody here real quick. So my one black friend and I host a show called Hot Program, normally at 3:30 p.m. Eastern every Sunday. The link should be down in the description. Please subscribe to the Hot Program channel, and if you do check it out, go ahead and watch it on the Hot Program channel. But check out my one black friend. Also has a YouTube channel. I'm live. My name's Jay Bundy. I'm over at Pocket Locker 86. I'm live on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. And James Apperson has a blog that you can read on Facebook, but also has a YouTube channel. He streams almost every day. And of course, our guy here, Uncle Bobby, Robert Reed, Gin and Truth, also uploads or will be making content almost every day. Make sure you check that out. Most of those links should be down in the description. So appreciate all you guys. Let's make sure, I want to make sure you guys have any other chance to ask each other questions before we wrap things up.
Let's not do the 613 commandments next week because I probably won't be able to make it.
Okay.
Because I'm flying out next Sunday.
All right, we'll wait till you get back.
My times yet.
Sure, no worries. And maybe I'll ask Uncle Bobby and James or some to hold it down with me again since you won't be here.
I think roll Godless Girl in there so you can get her, this is just a suggestion, so you can get her thoughts on what changed.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah. I could try to set that up. Yeah, I'll try to set that up.
If she changed, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, and Uncle Bobby, you may want to, we're the same age. You may want to, if she's game, bring some of that footage from that old video where you and her talked and it didn't go so high. Not that tensions could rise, but just so that, like, hey, maybe you both view things differently now. And as we all could agree, perspective is good.
Mm-hmm.
No, my perspective has not changed.
Okay.
And that is, rape is not a debate topic. It just isn't. I'm sorry, sure. Not in front of me.
Right.
Go over there, and for all the people who want to make robust philosophical arguments, fine. Mm-hmm. Just leave me the hell out of it. Because tomorrow, I'm 12 and a half hours away from hearing another story of rape.
Right.
So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
If she wants to listen to what she said, it's like, well, why shouldn't I just go rape somebody? Go over there with all the people who want to play that game.
Right.
My perspective has not changed because the reactions of the ladies I train, their perspective hasn't changed.
Right.
And the moment one of them says, yeah, you know, Robert, I know what happened to me was uncomfortable, but I don't have an objective means to say it was bad.
Right.
When one of them say it, I'll repeat it. Until then, carry your monkey ass way the fuck over there and go debate that bullshit with people who want to hear it.
Absolutely.
So if she wants to listen to what she said, I'll replay it. But my perspective has not changed because their perspective has not changed.
Sure. I wanted to ask you two questions. Maybe she'll want to talk about that. But I just want to ask you, number one, how did you get into self-defense? Because I always said, I don't want you to hit me with them stick things. And then two, how did you get into the whole, being a women's self-defense instructor? Just tell us a little bit about that part of your life.
I've been wanting to do martial arts since I was a kid. And just like my mother saying you can't play football, she also said you can't learn how to fight.
Sure.
Literally 26 years ago, I realized I'm a grown-ass man. I can make my own choices. Someone who used to work where I work introduced me to Tony Morrell, and the rest is history. After I got my first-degree black belt, I started feeling guilty. It's like, all this fucked up ass shit I can do. What do I do with it? It's like, all right, I'll teach women how to fight. That's how it worked out.
Are you into combat sports?
Oh, I love combat sports.
Yeah, so my growing up, my stepfather was a 5th-degree black belt. And so I can't fight for shit, but I was a dojo kid, right? Like I didn't want to train, but I was literally in the dojo all the time. Yeah. And then we always went to martial arts tournaments, and he won everything. everything because he was just on some streets. He was crazy. He fought Billy Blanks twice. You know, the Taibo guy.
Wow.
Yeah, he was real serious. So yeah, he would just have all the trophies, all the belts. It was crazy. I've seen him almost kill people accidentally. Yeah, his hands are lethal weapons. Yeah, he was no joke. So that was kind of it for me. Like growing up, gathered around the fire watching, because it was before MMA really took off. But you gathered around and watch boxing. And that's what he does now is train MMA and boxers and karate. So yeah, so we'll hang out. So one of the things we'll do probably in Gather is we'll probably stream like pay-per-view fights and stuff. So we'll make sure you know when that's going on and come kick it with the fans and watch some fights. Because I love it. I love combat sports.
I'm all about it.
Yeah. Do you ever have women you train decide they want to compete or get into it just because they're training with you and take a liking to it? No, they don't. So for them, it's strictly utility.
Yeah. It's what do I do if? I've never trained one of my ladies to get into the octagon.
I'm just saying they've never on their own just said, "Oh, I'm into this. I want to take kickboxing classes or something like that." No. Just interesting.
No, not with me.
Yeah.
I have a weird question. Do you have? Okay, so I have a defibrillator installed in my chest. I asked my doctor straight up, could that thing go off if it gets impacted? She said no. Earlier this August, it went off. At the moment, it was impacted. So can you make a video that shows me how to protect this from an a-hole? Because only an a-hole would hit me, right?
One of my little girls, I sent her off to college 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She has one in her chest.
Okay.
And it went off. And I don't know who cried harder. I don't know if there's an answer to that. But,
how to block people?
What's that?
How to block people from coming at me who are maybe they know and they're coming.
So the first thing where's Buddy? The first thing I would say, for me, it's natural because I'm a lefty.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever find yourself in that kind of situation, put your right forward. For a left-handed person, it's natural because here's my moneymaker back here. That's my stronger punch. By pulling your chest back, there's my heart. So you've given yourself about 8 inches worth of protection right there. Mm-hmm. With my little girl, it's harder because we're working on stuff to where she's on her back. So all of this is open. So there really isn't a one-size-fit-all answer. She's a small girl.
I guess run.
If you can, absolutely. I've always said, if you ever look behind you and there's clear, your best self-defense just became track and field. Mm-hmm. Turn around and haul ass. Absolutely.
Yeah. My reflexes are fast. I am not fast.
Yeah.
if you can understand my meaning.
Fast, and if you can, turn into a left-handed fighter.
Okay.
Put that side forward. That way your heart is back. Give yourself here. It's called getting skinny. Bam. Getting skinny. Giving your opponent less to hit.
Right. I learned that in fencing. Yeah.
Right.
We do a similar thing in fencing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Giving your attacker just a little bit less real estate to attack. That's actually not a bad idea. Maybe I should put out a video. But I will
say this too.
That's a hard one.
Your number one defense is charisma. I was thinking about this the other day about my time in high school. There were people, being the only black kid, there were kids who absolutely wanted to do harm to me every single day, but they just couldn't because the consequences, the blowback would have been too severe, right? I was just not, you might not have liked me. I might not always been likable, but you definitely wasn't going to hurt me and get away with it. And it wasn't because I was the biggest, toughest kid. It was just because there would be so many people so mad at you. And honestly, you being considered embarrassment to the whole skit. We got one black kid, right? So it almost don't care what Jay do. You beat him up, right? And that's who my one black friend is. He's that guy. He's just so great to everyone. You will not eat another meal in this community if you attack my one black friend. You ain't going to be, it's going to be people outside the grocery store like, yeah, your money's not welcome here.
Like, if I can answer a question real fast, why did I call her my little girl? Because she's my little girl. I've known her since she was this big, and you're right. I got no jokes. You're absolutely right. She's a grown-ass woman to everybody else. But I've known her since she was a child. I've watched her grow up. It's been my honor to watch her grow up. So that's to answer that question. That's why I call her my little girl, because she is my little girl. And I respect the fact that she's a grown-up. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But to me, if she gets married and has children and all that, they'll call her mom. He will call her, or she will call her wife. I will still call her my little girl. I've known her since she was this big, to answer that question.
Sure. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Cameron, that's me commenting when you say train, I recoil in horror. But I have a feeling you're right. I think you guys are right. And you too, Punk. Yeah, I agree. There is less surface area to hit. I'm not good. I'm trying to put the comments for those that don't know, I'm trying to put the comments at the bottom of the screen. I am not good at this. And if somebody else wants to do it, you are welcome to.
And if she ever asked me, I see the comment, if she ever asked me to say, you know what, I'm 20 years old, please stop, I would stop in a heartbeat. But I'm a middle-aged black dude from the South, and that's just.
Yeah. I never mind.
Get down.
Yeah. I feel like.
Yes, if she ever said, you know what, I'm about to get married, or I'm about to have a kid, or hey, I'm a grown-ass woman, I would stop. If she asked me, I would stop. But again, I call her my little girl because, again, I've known her since.
Sure. And a lot of people, it's just preference. Like, a lot of things just bother people that don't bother other people. Like, I don't mind that type of talk. Like, I have mentors that, see us as their children and we're really their mentees or whatever. But we like that. That they're like a father figure to us. We don't find that juvenilizing, but other people might, and we understand that, certainly. Yeah.
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 Right.
But yeah, it's she said it's a story to tell you. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, Uncle Bobby, let the people know where to find you. And do you have anything else planned coming up, or are you just gonna be knocking out more? Do you have any more series, man? We gotta link up on the film reviews, man.
What's that?
We gotta link up on these film reviews. Maybe we should do a Pure Flix movie night.
Oh, God bless America. You know what? Let me know. So there's going to be a lot of this. That last one was sitting on some bullshit. That was a hard one. I would absolutely do a Pure Flix movie. But that was just painful. Yeah, but y'all can find me on Twitter at RCReed40. Hit me up on YouTube, Gin and Truth on YouTube. But yeah, find me. Shit.
Definitely. Go ahead, my one black friend.
I'd like to suggest a name for your Pure Flix.
Sure.
Hit me.
Pure Fix.
Pure Fix?
Fix.
Pure
Come on
Fix.
with it.
Yeah.
Come on with it. Come on with it. Either way, it's going to be awful. The God's Not Deads, the Left Behind, Let There Be Light. One I watched, and I couldn't get through it, but it had Brian Bosworth in it.
Oh, I was just talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was about God and guns. And I was like, you almost have to try to make a movie this fucking awful. But yeah, let's rock it out.
All right, let's do it. All right, so what we do is I want to make sure I get to my 6 o'clock meeting on time. So I'll let everybody go around and say their closing thoughts. But before we do, I'll start and just say I am really excited about everything going forward. Please remember, I think me and Uncle Bobby are going to do 1 p.m. Eastern going forward on Sundays. So you'll get with us about 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, and then we'll roll in the hot program. Of course, I'll be doing Sacred Death Church at 6 p.m. after this, so you guys can stay with me. I'll stay live. When we end the show, I'll turn off the hot program machine and my one black friend and Gin and Truth. I'll turn off everybody else's channel. And if you want to keep watching me, just head on over to Pocket Locker 86. But otherwise, later tonight, we'll start our next audiobook, which I think is going to be The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. So that should be a pretty interesting audiobook. And y'all know me, I'll be live all week. And yeah, that's it for me. Go ahead. We'll let James go, and then Gin and Truth, and then my one black friend will close us out.
Oh, awesome. So I don't have anything prepared. Thanks to everybody for being here. I love my community. I love all of you guys. I love that our community continues to expand. And, when we jump to each other's channels, we call it bar hopping now.
Yeah.
It's like cheers bar, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to go where someone knows your name.
There you go.
And I just love it. Everybody's got their own style, their own groove. Sometimes we're so in the mood for some Gin and Truth, and that's where we hop over to. And sometimes we want to go into airplane mode. We go over to Jay's. Sometimes we're into Bible nerdery, and we want to go over to Derek's channel for a while at Myth Vision and soak up some of that. And it's whatever groove you're in, man. There's always something on there for somebody, and I love that about our community. And I love that it's a safe place where people are mutually respectful, and we're trying to learn and grow together. So thank you all for that.
All right, Gin and Truth, go ahead. You close. You're saying any thoughts you've got? Yeah.
Nah, just keep it real, keep it kind. That being said, don't put up with anybody's bullshit.
Boom.
If you hear some bullshit, then by all means call it bullshit. And realizing you're attacking someone's stance, not necessarily their person. Mm-hmm. And I'm quite sure SJ doesn't drown puppies, but her beliefs are sitting on some bullshit. And they are worthy of criticism. Mm-hmm. Keep it kind, keep it real, but if you smell some shit, make sure you call it shit. And you're not mean, or you're not persecuting someone because you called their shit. It's not a bouquet of roses. So just keep it real. Keep it real.
Mm-hmm. Amen, Kenny. Go ahead, my one black friend.
I'll riff on that. I agree. You have to deal with the opinions. The ideas may need to be thrown out, but let's not do that with people. And I do realize I tend to go to Christianity a lot, just try to point out some of the faults that the Bible has, or that Christianity as an organization has. But it's made from, like Soylent Green, it's made from people. So, preserve I would say, the wholesomeness that is within that person, because that's something we all need to have nurtured within ourselves, and we need to highlight when we see it in other people, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful, and it goes on being communicated. There are some bad arguments, and when you hear them, ask a question about that bad argument. Make the person you're speaking with process that thought. Make them justify that thought instead of you, I'd say, endlessly trying to answer it. Seitan Bruggencate was talking about the presuppositional thing, and he kept saying basically, like, you never stop asking questions. In my view, if you're talking to me and you're doing that, I'm fine with it. But that's because I'm probably smarter than Seitan Bruggencate. And I'll probably be more entertained by the fact that he's asking me questions. If you're put in that position, use that. It's an opportunity. And use that position to slowly chip away at the bad parts of their belief. The good parts, you want to shore those up. But think of it like you're sculpting something. Well, I like this about this person, so I don't want to touch that. But over here, there's some things to get rid of. You know, this is a mess right here. Let's clean this up. Or this is poorly formed. Let's sculpt it so that it fits with everything else this person finds beautiful about their religion, and not the horrifying shit like limiting other people's rights and stepping on people and making sure you get your way. Come on.
Right.
And my intro would have been, had this been a more traditionally
a more traditionally structured episode. Seriously,
it's okay. I like this. My intro was to be, and now for a man who puts the odd in audacity, a man who needs no introduction.
That's right. A man who needs no introduction.
I like it.
Audacity. I like it.
Yeah, Carrie Ann said, I am more accepting because when I write you off, your worth becomes less to me than an ant, and I don't like that. I appreciate that. All right, gang, we're out of here. We'll see you all soon. I'm over on Pocket Locker 86, and I'm sure everybody else will see you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody.
All right, gang.
Thank you.
Peace.